quite the week, Tumaole, from gender issues being brought up into the spotlight to allegations of sexual harassment. Some light moments here and there, but definitely the overall tone, you would say, one was quite informed following these 4 days. What do you perceive some of the commissioners are considering behind closed doors at this hour at least?
Well, certainly it would seem that the deliberations are quite difficult, and we were initially under the impression that we could expect to have been briefed on the outcome of the conclusion of the deliberation. Certainly, we are not expecting to get much in terms of what would happen, except to get confirmation that the processes in terms of deliberations and whether a candidate will be nominated, which candidate rather will be nominated, and hand it over to the presidency, President Cyril Ramaphosa, for his consideration, because of course we know that the office of the Chief Justice of the nation is one that is basically appointed at the pleasure of the president. But to get what is happening behind closed doors a bit more in terms of the deliberation, certainly one would be considering that the exchange that we saw between Ronald Lamola as well as Julius Malema just yesterday was something that the commissioners would be talking about very seriously and considering. So we're going to be joined now by News 24 journalist Karyn Maughan. Karyn, you've been following the commission very closely as well, and the journalists are now gathered, and you are one of them. This issue between that spat between Julius Malema and Ronald Lamola, what do you make of it?
I think that it is very clear that there are a number of commissioners in the JSC, most notably Dali Mpofu and Julius Malema, who are absolutely of the view that they do not want Dunstan Mlambo, the Gauteng judge president, in the running for the Chief Justice position. And I think that this issue around whether or not there was adverse or improper, irregular political interference in his acting appointment at the Constitutional Court may well be a grounds on which they and their particular grouping within the JSC argue that Dunstan Mlambo simply cannot be put forward as a candidate for the Chief Justice. Of course, Mlambo being the person who had to face what could best be described as sexual harassment rumors, which were unsubstantiated, not backed up by any evidence or complaint, and ultimately expunged from the record by the acting chair of this proceedings, Kola Petse.
So this would effectively mean then, if those deliberations are about Mlambo and, as your analysis puts it, maybe sidelining him, that does this pave the way for Acting Chief Justice Raymond Zondo to then ascend, or do we see a female justice perhaps coming up for the first time?
The pivotal issue here is, does the JSC put forward all 4 names, as it should, because there has already been a panel appointed by President Cyril Ramaphosa to say that these 4 people are potentially the new Chief Justice. They've been vetted. They are the most senior judges in the country, widely respected. Or do they attempt to put forward one name and effectively attempt to force the president's hand in this appointment? Because we must stress here that unlike when Constitutional Court justices are appointed, the JSC can put forward names, but the president needs to choose from those names. The president has the ultimate discretion here. The Constitution says he needs to consult with the JSC. He does not need to be bound by what they say. However, if they put forward reports, which they're going to have to, about the suitability of each candidate, and they make a case that someone simply cannot be considered, he then faces the prospect of a rationality challenge of some kind of nature if he goes against them. So we really are talking about a particularly implosive situation that has the potential to put the JSC in direct conflict with the president. And I think everyone should be watching what happens here.
Thank you very much, Karyn. We'll leave it there. And that's Karyn Maughan, a News 24 journalist, just giving us an analysis of what could be going on behind closed doors in terms of the deliberations. But let us take the audience back to exactly what happened between that exchange between Ronald Lamola, the Justice and Constitutional Minister, as well as EFF leader, but Commissioner, more importantly, here at the Judicial Services Commission, interviews for the Chief Justice position, Julius Malema. Let's take a listen.
My point is that this process of this individual recommended to you started once the process has started.
Yeah.
And this is what happens, ACJ.
Yes.
CJ Mugwen writes to them. They don't respond. They wait for him to go. Now they know that the CJ is gone. Their process, you are now acting. We're going to look for ACJ. Then they start responding to Mugwen's
Acting chairperson, that is a lie. It's a blue lie, what Commissioner Malema.
No, but don't say I'm lying. What do you mean I'm lying?
It's a lie.
No, don't say I'm lying. That is disrespectful. To say I'm lying, it's disrespectful. But if you are going to allow him to say I'm lying, it's wrong. You see? I'm on a platform here, and I'm not going to be called a liar here.
Chair, take charge of your meeting. Chairperson, take charge of your meeting, please. No insults, please.
Yeah, I can't say I'm lying.
Honorable Minister, I haven't recognized you.
No, you must protect me, Chair.
I'm raising a point of order.
You cannot just come in and say I'm lying.
I'm raising a point of order.
If he's going to degenerate this thing because he's a minister, it's not going to work here. Not with me. It's not going to work with me.
Mr. Malema, please make your point.
But protect me. He says I'm lying. Protect me.
And we continue to wait for the name that will come out from those commissioners. Tumaole Mohlaoli, certainly an eventful week. Thank you very much for that update.